commentaries, documentaries, fatigue, live streams. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the fatigue attacked. Only the LoadedBuggy, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. Hey everyone, LoadedBuggy here, and I am here to make another unscripted, with the exception of the intro, commentary for you today, and it's a bit of a life update. You may have noticed over the last 5 or 6 months my videos have been incredibly and increasingly inconsistent. Sometimes absent, I'm sometimes present for a few weeks, and then stuff happens. So I'm just kind of making this video off the cuff to give you some sort of an update as to what in the world has been going on with the LoadedBuggy. So, in May of this year, 2025, the year of our Lord. I don't know why I said that, but anyway. May of 2025, my family and I moved cross-country. We lived on the West Coast. We're now on the East Coast. And prior to this move, we had prepared mentally as best as we could, and financially as best as we could. We had about $9,000 or $10,000 saved up to complete this move, from the moving cost itself with the U-Haul to the down payment on the house that we were going to be renting, as well as giving us some room for some furniture and things of the like. And by the way, if this is sounding like a familiar story to you, you may have already read my life update post that I had posted weeks ago, but there's been some new additions to whatever the heck is going on right now. But anyway, so we had saved financially, and we move in May. We get to the house that we're renting. We were told this place was going to be renovated, and it had 3.5 bedrooms, essentially 3 full bedrooms and 1 small bedroom, but it had a closet, basically enough for like a couch, if you will. So not really a bedroom, but kind of a bedroom. But anyway, we get to this house, and we were not told that it doesn't have any air conditioning. We were not told that it is technically a second story, but even within the home itself, there's even more stairs. So you have to go upstairs to get to the house. So it's a second story, basically like a single family home converted into a stacked duplex, if you will. And the unit that we had was the top unit, and it had stairs on the inside as well. So it's basically 3 flights of stairs in order to move into this place, which we completed. So we move into this house, and it's not as renovated as we thought, and apparently there was some miscommunications from the landlord and their spouse on the time frame that they had to actually get this place ready. So it was a bit of a rush job, unfortunately, and we inherited said rush job. The sad part for us was, again, we were not informed that there was no air conditioning. We were not informed that it was a second story. The second story part was not necessarily a deal breaker, but it definitely made the move in harder. The air conditioning, on the other hand, was pretty rough, because when we finally got there, there was this massive heat wave across the country, and it was like 92 to 95 degrees in the state we're living in, and lots of humidity to boot. So we're looking at like 105 degree weather practically. And so we get a portable AC and put it in one of the rooms, and it's just not doing the trick. It's not keeping the house cool. And then it's just raining nonstop once we get there too. And if you've ever heard of the bug called an earwig, it's essentially this long-ish black bug, skinny little black bug that has pinchers on it. This is the first time I've really encountered these bugs, but we encountered them, and we encountered them in droves. Because of how rainy and hot it was outside, these bugs were basically flooding inside of our new home because it was dry, and because it was slightly cooler than it was outside. So not only were we dealing with the frustrations of moving, but we were dealing with this stupid bug infestation, and there was cracks all over the house on the like the flushing, the trim. So I did my best to try to seal those up, and it just wasn't enough. These bugs were just still coming in, and it was absolutely miserable. And then on top of that, there was no garage parking at all. There's a garage on the property, but it's being used by the landlord for storage for some of their stuff that they use for renovation, and then The garage door opener doesn't even work, so you can't park your car in there. So I didn't have any parking space, really. Meanwhile, pretty much every other neighbor we knew in that street had parking of their own. So I was having to figure out this stupid parking situation because they do street sweeping on this road that we lived on twice a week. So you couldn't park on a certain side of the road on Monday or whatever it was, and then on the other Friday you weren't allowed to park from this time to this time. So I got multiple tickets because I was parked on the wrong side of the road because there's no road signs anywhere, and my landlord didn't tell me that this was actually going to be occurring. So I had to pay 2 tickets for parking on the wrong side of the road because the city does not inform you and my landlord did not inform us. So it was just starting off a mess, and we were absolutely miserable as a result of living in this environment. Our kids were miserable, we were miserable. We would basically go to my brother's house as often as we possibly could as refuge from the home that we lived in. And there was just bugs everywhere, from earwigs to spiders to ants. It was just an utter nightmare. So we decided that we were going to move out. And this was after we had purchased all of our new furniture that we were going to be using, and trying to find storage solutions for this place because this place did not have full-blown closets. They basically took these little, 1.5 to 2 foot deep, if that, closets, maybe like 18 inches deep closet. You couldn't even put a full hanger in there. So we had to use these closets to store all of our clothes, which we couldn't do. So I had to pay for a bunch of storage options, like a wardrobe to keep outside of the closets just to hang some things that needed hung. And then we had to buy a bunch of dressers and drawers and stuff just to put our things. We never even got unpacked after being there for a month and a half, 2 months. So to make that long story shorter, we decided it was time to go after only being there for less than 2 months. So I told my landlord, this is what's going on. We're incredibly unhappy. We need to leave. And they basically said, okay, in order to break the lease, you have to pay up through August in terms of rent. So that was like $3,000 that we had to pay just to get out. And we're like, okay, I guess we're doing this, and we'll just, pinch our pennies as best as we can. So we find another apartment that my brother had lived in and he could vouch for, and we move in and we pay the down payment and stuff, and things are already tight financially, but we're trying to make it work. And then as the state that we previously lived in, Arizona, there was no such thing as a vehicle inspection. All you did have to do was emissions. So basically, when I got to the new state that we're living in on the East Coast, inspections are extremely common and required if you want to drive your vehicle legally. So I took my vehicle in to get inspected, and I have 2 vehicles actually. So I took both vehicles in one at a time. First vehicle cost $1,800 just to pass the inspections. I had to get fog lights replaced, the housings replaced for the fog lights. I had to replace 4 tires on the thing because the heat from Arizona had dry rotted them basically. It was a miracle we even made it in the first place driving cross country. So $1,800 out the door, we're in debt. I'm like, okay, great, but we can figure this out. We can pay this off. No big deal. Take my 2015 Jetta that's never really given me any issues into the same shop. They get it inspected and they say everything looks good with the exception of the tires. Again, dry rotted. It's a miracle it made it cross country. That's another $1,000 out the window. So here we are, $3,000 out the window, in debt from the down payment of this new apartment and having to pay for all of these vehicle repairs and stuff. And then we're living at this new apartment, and the brand new tire that I had just replaced on one of my vehicles goes flat. I'm like, great. So I take it in to the shop. They were thankfully able to repair it. $40, no big deal. Go on my way. A few weeks later, my other vehicle also has a flat. Brand new tires. Brand new tire has a flat. And I'm like, great. And it's the exact same side of the vehicle, the exact same tire as the previous vehicle. I'm like, all right, that's a little sketchy. So then I go to the shop and I'm like, oh, okay, I got another issue. And they take a look at it and they pull a full-blown razor blade out of our tire, and it is not repairable. And I'm like, okay, so is someone really not liking our presence living at this place? And for the record, when we first moved into this apartment, we got noise complaints because my children were running around. We've never lived in an apartment before, so this was a learning experience for us. We sent our apologies to every other tenant who was nearby, because we felt so horrible about the noise complaint being there less than a month. So we're like, all right, did we make enemies because our kids were mad? And so we had no idea. But they pulled half of a razor blade out of our tire, and unfortunately, because it was a long cut essentially in the tread of our tires, not on the sidewall like a normal tire slashing, but in the actual tread. So they pull it out, and they're like, unfortunately, it's not repairable. And so we're like, great, there goes another $260 something just to replace this tire. So it's just adding up and adding up and adding up. And it's just the stress is so outrageously overwhelming. And I want to give a little bit of shout out here. I wasn't planning on doing this necessarily, but this is a guy that you all know him. Buddy Wylern, after he had read what was going on, out of the goodness of his heart, decided that he felt like he needed to donate to me in order to help, alleviate at least some of the costs of what we were going through. So not only did Wylern donate $200 to me, but he did it on a video that does not get very much traction. It's one of my original videos, but it doesn't get a lot of views. So not many people were going to be seeing this. So he did something wonderful out of the goodness of his heart in the dark without expecting to receive praise. But alas, here I am to shout his praises. So big ups to Wylern. That really helped a lot. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you supporting me and checking in on me and doing what you did. You didn't have to do that, especially, the man was getting married weeks later and still decided he wanted to do this, and he did. So big shout outs to Wylern. Great guy. If you're not subscribed to his channel, definitely go do that. Salt of the earth, that man. But anyway, so here we are having to pay for this stupid tire. And then, less than a month later, my wife gets an update from her best friend, or from her mom basically, that her best friend's dad had passed away. And we're like, oh, okay, so I guess we need to go, don't we? So literally the next day, we are in our Jetta. It's a small car, but it fits off the family of 4 that I have. It fits us just enough so we can get to point A to point B. We had thought about flying, but it was going to be $2,500 because it was short notice, super short notice to fly out. So we decided to drive and save some money, which we did. And we get here and we go to the funeral and we spend some time with family. And then we're here for about 3 weeks. And I take it into the shop just to get an oil change and to get a pre-travel inspection, safety inspection, multi-point inspection. And essentially what they found is my transmission is shot. So what's that phrase? Murphy's Law. It's anything that can go wrong will go wrong. In this case, it is going wrong, has gone wrong, and will probably go wrong some more. So that's just kind of what we've been dealing with. It's just been a non-stop barrage of utter nonsense. And there's so many other little things that I could point to as well that had just been absolutely beating my family down. And the worst part of it all is we didn't even really want to move cross country in the first place. It's just things were getting so expensive where we were living, and my parents, who we were living with as a transitional piece, were also moving, so we really didn't have much of a choice. So we kind of got kicked out of the state to go move across country in order to survive, and here we are drowning more than before. This is not a video that I am sharing or I'm not making because I want necessarily your pity or anything. It's just, these are the reasons why I've been gone. And I am more motivated now than ever whenever I do finally get back home to put my pedal to the metal and make as many videos as I possibly can and bring in just a little bit of money to help alleviate these costs. And so right now I am stranded. I am not home. I am not at my setup. I am working on the jankiest of computers in order to make this video using old gameplay from a live stream that I've cut the audio out of. So I'm making do with what I've got, but even while I'm here, I'm going to do my best to try to make something that is of value, something that you guys may find enjoyment watching. So that's that. That's where I've been. That's where I am now. So yeah, that's the LoadedBuggy story. I will be back. I will be back hopefully soon. Hopefully this car repair is completed soon. And I'll be on my way home so I can make the videos that you guys expect. But in the meantime, I'll probably just be making commentaries on the channel again. Maybe that's what God intended. Maybe he's doing all of this because I strayed too far from the path, and I meant to make commentaries. Probably not, but that's what I'm going to do for now. Hopefully you guys enjoy them as they come out. I'm not sure the frequency of how often I'll be making these videos, but I'll be making the videos regardless. So, without further ado, I will say my farewells. Bye now.